So what is a technical recession?
Naughty R word, eh? Everyone thinks about it. Yeah. I mean, recession is basically a drop in GDP for a country, right? GDP meaning gross domestic product. So if you think of GDP, it's sort of like the revenue of a business for a country, right? If the revenue drops, generally it's not a really great business. Okay, so with the technical recession, it's sort of like a shorter recession, meaning there's a drop in GDP for the last 2 quarters of the year. So New Zealand experienced 0.1 drop and a 0.7 drop in the last 2 quarters, 2 times in a row. If there's a third one, meaning it's going to go down a pretty darker path. Okay, so whereas a recession is probably a longer duration, a bit longer, and then if it's a depression, it's a sort of extended recession. So, for example, US had a Great Depression back in the 1930s that lasted about 10 years.
Are we going down that track?
Well,
Don't know.
That's a great explanation, by the way.
Yeah, that's really good. I'd like to touch on something just real quickly, but I did some research, and in the last year to March, we actually had positive GDP for the whole year. Yes. So, it was 2.9% to the year ended in March, so it's only the last 2 quarters that we've actually dipped that's caused it to go
when you
into
tunnel
recession.
vision like that and look at a short firm,
recession.
it freaks people out, instills fear in people. And the last technical recession that we had was during COVID, right? 2020. So we had a pretty good run.
Was that 2 periods?
Yeah, or a bit more. Yeah, there was a big drop because of the whole COVID outbreak.
Yeah.
Then it rebounded pretty strongly. Property went up, everyone's happy, interest rates dropped.
Yeah, look, for me, I'm always going to be glass half full guy, so I'm always looking at the positives around this. And, we had the cyclones, that came through, so all of these things happened at this time, which may have led to us going into recession, So I'm more positive about the future, and where it's headed.
Yeah, so talk to me about, I like that mindset, a glass half full. And if I always have this thought of, and I don't have I'll ask you a question. So if you're glass half full and everybody else in business was glass half full, or in the country, would we be able to not be in a recession?
I think so. I think it's a mindset of a nation, and we can talk ourselves into a recession.
So we're talking ourselves at a consumer spend, which is part of the problem.
Totally.
Well, remember the whole bloody thing has been orchestrated, right? You don't just end up in a recession.
Explain orchestrated for the...
Well, the Reserve Bank and the politicians, you can't just have inflation going forever, right? That's the topic of the last year, inflation, and COVID spending and handouts has obviously ramped up inflation. And we got to a point where inflation was too high. So the only thing they could do to pull it back was to head us towards a recession, and in fact, keep heading us that way, and then make it a recession so it kind of gets back to normality. And then everyone's freaking out because we're in a technical recession. But
this is what the Reserve Bank governor wanted.
Exactly.
So he wanted. So he's got what he wanted. We're in a recession. It is a technical recession. And will it last? Time will tell. But this is what he wanted. So I think in that regard, it's a good thing. Are people stopping spending? I think they sort of have to, in this environment, and they are. But yeah, it's great. I think
he's had his KPIs.
Well, he gets his bonus.
And did he say what the outcome was? Like, what was the purpose of the recession, or the reason he was orchestrating it?
There's consumer spending, right?
Yeah,
it's just inflation, just rampant inflation.
Yeah, but so for the people that don't get it, like you're saying consumer spending, what is it? What do you mean? Like he wanted people to spend less, more?
Well, if you give people free money, you're going to spend it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. They had free money, interest rates were so low, so everyone was spending money on cars and houses.
Spending money that they don't have.
Exactly.
I was in 277 like last weekend, and I was shocked of how many people were there spending money still. Are they spending money that they don't have? I don't know. But, because of this technical recession now, the spending has reduced, so that's good.
Yeah, and naturally it will reduce and have reduced because people are looking forward and a little bit more fearful, right? And they haven't really done their numbers, so they don't do their numbers and they're a bit fearful. Of course they're going to slow down their spending.
Okay, so we're in technical recession. My only advice, at this point, the best piece of thing people could do is go and actually learn what a recession or a technical recession and a depression mean, because they're 3 different things. Because people don't know. And then it's like, they read the paper and it's like, oh shit, we're in a recession.
It's a GFC.
It's like, do you actually know what it means? Because a lot of people don't. And it's not a good or a bad thing. I think people should just take the time out to to understand that. And
I think it is a
that'll-
bad thing if you don't understand what it means, because it's in every headline and has been
Yeah,
for
but
ages.
it's a scary thing because right, it's like a smart person's topic, you know, or perceived that way. So it actually does. It's just like shares, right? Shares is a smart person's investment. It's bullshit. Like everybody should be able to do that.
Yep.
You know, it's actually not that hard. That's another topic, but yeah, I just think people should go and learn because it's not that hard to learn, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I remember when I first found out what a recession meant, because there's a technicality behind it, which you explained. I remember when I first learnt about it, I don't know, let's just say 10 years ago, and I was like, is that it?
Mm.
Is that all it means?
Yeah. That few
yeah,
percent
I mean,
drop
it's-
in your GDP.
it's kind of the same thing as, is that it when you're investing in shares, and is that it when you're buying property for investment? It's actually not that hard.